For the past 2 weeks I have been dating Alicia. We met when she followed me on Instagram. We didn't have any mutuals, but I followed her back and we started DMing. She is a beautiful solid 10 and works as a doctor. I took her on a date last week and we had a great time and kissed at the end of it. Earlier this week I met up with my best friend Harriet, who I have known since I was a kid. I told her about my date, but when I showed her Alicia's picture she was very angry. Harriet is a nurse and the two of them work in the same department at the same hospital. Harriet does not like Alicia. She claims that she is a snob who is constantly rude to her and humiliates her at every opportunity. She told me that Alicia saw her on a video call to me on a lunch break and after she was done said I was cute and tried to pester her for my details. Harriet refused, but Alicia didn't give up, even said she would stop tormenting her at work if she convinced me to go out with her. At one point I was chatting to Harriet over text and she left her phone for a minute or so. According to Harriet, this is when Alicia took her chance. Harriet has my number saved as my full name, so that was all Alicia needed to look me up on social media. Harriet was annoyed with me, but understood that I didn't know and we're okay. I phoned up Alicia later and demanded the truth and she started crying, admitting that she did look on Harriet's phone, but it was only on impulse and she didn't plan to do it. She said how sorry she was and begged me to please not dump her over this. I took some time to think about it, but in the end we started talking again and met up yesterday. Alicia said she didn't understand why anyone would want to be friends with Harriet, but we had a great time again and she invited me to come back home with her. We had a great night and by the morning she asked if I'd like to be exclusive with her. I said I needed time, which upset her. I would like to be, but I feel like that would really damage my friendship with Harriet. She was fuming when I told her how Alicia found me and I don't think she'd be happy if she became my girlfriend. Alicia is a gorgeous, funny, bubbly and lovely person who I really want to see more of, but I have a gut feeling that I am betraying my friendship with Harriet. You're the idiot for throwing Harriet under the bus here. She sounds like she is nice and told you the truth straight away. Leave Harriet out of your problems when this goes to crap. She warned you. You're going out with a woman that bullies her. Don't expect this friendship to survive. This the start of the crazy, you know that, right? If you want this drama train, go ahead and keep dating Alicia. Everyone's the idiot here. Alicia has already shown you that she's sneaky, manipulative and disrespectful. Your best friend has a strong dislike of her for what sound like legitimate reasons, but rather than trusting her judgment and the proof Alicia has given to you herself, you're allowing your desire to decide whether you should date her. If she has already disrespected your best friend to your face, why would you even consider dating her? If you don't care for or respect Harriet or yourself, then go ahead. You're the idiot. Your friend is trying to save your behind, but you think you know better. The best judge of character is how they talk about other people. You know Harriet, so she is obviously a nice person for you to be friends. For Alicia to call your friend shows that she's not as nice a person as you think. If you date her, then I can guarantee you will no longer be friends with Harriet. She will either stop wanting to be around you both, or Alicia will make you choose. Update. I'm the idiot, no doubt about that. My friendship with Harriet should come first, and as you guys have said, it's wrong to date someone who is cruel to your friends. I texted Alicia saying I won't risk my friendship with Harriet by dating her, but she hasn't responded, so I will update when she does. Update 2. So, after watching my phone all evening, I got a call from Alicia and answered to her screaming down the phone. She called me every swear word under the sun. From her voice she sounded wasted drunk. She called me a snake and said that Harriet was a tramp and an ugly idiot and told me that I'd never get a girl as good as her again. I let her rant at me for a few more seconds before cutting the call. I called Harriet and warned her that there may be more problems at work because of how angry Alicia was and that she should consider involving HR. Thanks for the guidance, guys. It was a blunder to consider involving myself with her further, but I see the error of my ways. I, 22, my sister, 26, and my mom, 60, went to my cousin Allie's, 45, wedding last night. Due to the pandemic, they have decided to make a small ceremony and Allie asked me to be the photographer for the event beforehand. I agreed. Allie also asked my sister to help out with a playlist, and my sister said she would. Last night we went to her wedding, and my sister openly said she did not make a playlist for the event because she did not feel like it. Ali was super cool about it and she said she did not mind, so her friends had to step in for the role. Since her friends were not prepared beforehand, the music was kinda off. I didn't say anything to my sister because I was taking photos all night, and since I was the photographer I was not in any of them. At the end of the night I asked for a photo with Ali, which my sister wanted to be in as well, and my mom took the photo with my sister's phone. So the issue started when we arrived home. As soon as we walked in, my sister started to talk about how cheap the Ali is for not hiring a photographer or a wedding band. She started to talk crap about how awful the whole event was. I tried to change the subject and asked for photos that my mom took. My sister said she would only send me those photos under one circumstance. I would not post it anywhere because she already posted on her Instagram. I said I might post it since it's the only photo that I was in. Then she said she wouldn't send it to me because it is super cringy to share the same photo. I thought she was joking, so after a while I asked again and she said no. Then we started to argue and I said it was selfish for her to do this because it is the only pic that I am in, whereas my sister is in a lot of them, and I said I saw anything wrong with sharing the same pic. She said I was being disrespectful and started to cry. So I started to feel bad and dropped it. Next day I woke up and checked social media and saw my sister's post. She cropped me out of the photo and posted herself and Ali. I asked my sister to show me the original photo and she said only if I did not ask to post it. At this point I got really frustrated and said, you might as well delete them since I will never be able to even see them, and she did. I got really upset and called her idiot and she started to cry. Now my mom thinks I should apologize because I made her cry. I don't get why I am the only person to apologize because she deleted the only photo that I have and she always gets away from uniting with crying. What should I do? Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Your sister was acting extremely immature and entitled about this, and from this post, she doesn't seem to care about other people at all. I don't know why your mother is enabling that behavior, but it's wrong. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you're in the wrong because your sister cried or because it's 2 against 1. Not the idiot, so it sounds dumb, but if you can, cry about it in front of your mom. If it's the only language she's going to understand, why not use it? You have a far better reason to be upset than your sister does. Why don't you explain your side to your mother and shed a tear of 2? Might not work, but maybe worth a shot. Depending on what kind of phone your sister has, there might be a recently deleted folder, so you could still get the photo back. Your sister is being childish for a 26-year-old. She went to a wedding with a job and refused to do it, then had others pick up her slack. She didn't even do what she agreed to do, yet whined about the wedding hours after. How fake is that? Not only that, but she wanted to be in a photo that was your only photo. She couldn't have given the wife and you 1 second to take a photo, then to add another with her in it. It sounds like your mom is enforcing your sister's behavior. I feel terrible for the cousin who had to deal with such behavior on her wedding day. I'm 23 and attempting to undo a lifetime of bad eating habits from growing up in an unhealthy, obese family. I've made great progress, but I still have a long way to go and am a good 35-40 pounds overweight. My cousin is getting married and asked me to be a bridesmaid. We grew up together, are incredibly close, and are of a similar age, so we have many of the same friends. I was thrilled at the idea of being in her wedding until I saw the bridesmaid dresses. It's a soft, light pink and made of silky material that clings to every curve and roll. So skin tight. Strapless. Backless. I look flipping ridiculous in it and about 15 pounds heavier than I am. The rest of her wedding party is fit and skinny like I'm working towards, and they look gorgeous in the dresses, but even these sweet girls couldn't keep their expressions neutral when they saw me in it. It's bad. My cousin is dead set on keeping these dresses, and since it's her wedding, I'm not upset about that. But I asked her if I could bow out of the party, and while she agreed, she was also upset. She said it's her one special day, and she wants me to be in the party, and the bride gets to pick the dress, and that she has been in some ugly dresses in other weddings, but got over it for the bride. Maybe I am being selfish, but I cannot emphasize enough how horrible I look in it. It's everything someone with my body type should avoid. If it were another friend's wedding far away I might get over it, but this will be full of our friends and family and everyone I know. The pictures will be all over my family's house and everyone's social media. I would be so uncomfortable, self-conscious, and miserable the entire wedding. So, am I the idiot? I admire your powers of sober self-reflection. The dress makes you feel miserable. I don't think anyone can ask that from you, wedding day be damned. A wedding ought to be a happy occasion for everybody involved, not just the couple in question. That's selfish and not what love is about. The couple has the rest of their lives to enjoy each other. Not the idiot. I don't think you should have to wear something that makes you uncomfortable, and she could very easily agree to a compromise where you keep the color but find a dress style that makes you feel more confident. It being her special day doesn't justify her on this, and if she wanted to get over it then fine, but that doesn't mean you have to as well. I'm really sorry the rest of the bridal party couldn't keep their expressions neutral. That was a bit crappy on their part. Good luck with your health and keep up the work. No idiots here. You're still going to the wedding, you're just not in the wedding party. How important is the wedding party really? On the other hand, maybe there is a different version of that same dress that is more flattering. Usually prom and bridesmaids dresses come in the same color and style, but with slightly different length or slightly different top and skirt shape. I had to record a speech for an online course, and my newborn would not stop crying the entire time I tried filming the speech. So I picked her up and was pretty much holding her to my chest the entire time that I was filming. My SO was at work and I had to get this video in, and the only way I could finish the filming was if I held my baby for the entire 10 minutes, or I'd have to hear her screaming in the background of my video. And no, I could not have someone come over and help me out, for obvious reasons. Well, when I uploaded the video, my classmates had to make comments on my body language and presentation of the speech that I was giving. All of the comments were saying that I was using my newborn for a better grade and that it was unfair to everyone else, how since I was holding her, they wouldn't be able to properly critique my speech, stuff like that. The comments didn't necessarily bother me, it was more so how my professor reacted to my video. She sort of reacted the same way as the students. She told me that I wasn't being fair to my classmates and ended up giving me a 0 on the assignment. I asked her if I could record it again when my SO is off of work the next day, however at that point, it would have already been late as she didn't give us feedback until this morning, which was 3 days past the due date. She isn't giving me the option to redo my speech because I apparently took advantage of having a newborn and tried to purposely use an advantage against my classmates to try and get a better grade. Professor of 20+ years here. Strong, not the idiot. Approach your university's equity and diversity person and file a formal complaint. There is no cause for a 0. The prof in question is entitled to her opinion, but a 0 fail. Really? Bullcrap. This is about your right to reasonable accommodation in getting an education, not about their opinions. Ask your department head to see if someone else can grade this and all other assessments for this class this semester. Not the idiot. Report your professor to the dean of their department. Unsolicited advice, but this made my blood boil as a former university employee. Give them a heads up that you will be escalating the 0 grade they gave you if they chose to keep it on the book. Then report them. Even in normal circumstances there should be exceptions, but with current isolations it should be completely understandable that your hand was forced for this assignment. You said you couldn't record the video sooner because of catching up on other work, but could you have recorded the video when your significant other was home and worked on the other assignments when he was gone? I can totally emphasize. My middle child was born the day my last semester started and all my classes were online. My son Liam passed away over 2 years ago when he was only 5. I can't even begin to describe the pain we went through. Even now, I'm still learning how to cope and live every day without him. He was such a beautiful soul, and I miss him every second of my life. 7 months after he passed, my ex-wife and I split after she slept with her coworker. She wanted us to work it out and said she only cheated because she was struggling with her grief. That might have been true, but she still hurt me, so we divorced. My ex stayed in our old house. Even if it hurt leaving the home my son grew up in, I couldn't take being in that house after catching her in the act. Now about the cabin, we started coming every year around the holidays ever since Liam was a baby. Always the same one because of the beautiful view of the lake that looked even better because of all the snow. It was Liam's favorite place in the world. My parents were friends with the elderly couple who owned the cabin. They rarely stayed there, so they always rented it out to us. Beginning of this year, they announced they were going to sell the place, and I decided to buy it myself. I work from home and like the idea of living there, away from the city and away from everything that happened. I've adjusted well to living out here and I feel so much closer to my son. Living in the place that holds so many wonderful memories. Untainted by what happened. I never knew if my ex ever came up here on her own after my son passed. I know I didn't. She contacted me after she found out that I now live here. She asked if she could maybe come up because this is the time of year we used to bring Liam and she wants to visit the place our son loved so much. I had to tell her no. Not to be petty, but because I didn't know if I could handle her being here after what she did. I'm still dealing with everything in therapy and have yet to forgive her. Obviously she was upset by this and begged me over the phone to let her visit. She cried but I just couldn't. It hurt too much to think about her being here in my space when I still feel the pain she caused me. My father understands and is on my side, but my mother is saying I am being unreasonable because my ex also lost her son and wants to visit the place he loved most. Especially right now that she has no one in her life and it might do us some good to grieve together. I am feeling torn about this. On the one hand, yes, she is Liam's mom and feels the same pain I do, so I understand her wanting to feel close to him. But on the other, I don't know if I can handle her being in my space when I'm still trying to get over the hurt. Even if I'm not present when she comes by, I will still know she was there and it'll feel like she's intruded my safe place. It's a tough situation, but I just don't see it happening. Am I the idiot for it? Not the idiot. You should be keeping your boundaries and doing what's good for you. If I got the timeline right, she could have visited the cabin before you bought it. She can also go and visit the lake and doesn't need to come to the cabin itself. My guess is she's using that as an excuse to maybe try to see you or try to get you back. You're absolutely not the idiot. Your ex gets to remember Liam in his everyday home and now you do also. I'm so sorry for your loss and the extra grief that your wife caused with her own pain. It is not your job to make yourself uncomfortable or in additional pain to help her. Honor what feels right and best to you. Not the idiot. I understand how places can hold all sorts of special meanings and so many feelings when you've lost someone you associate with that place. I can see how it would be very beneficial and healthy to your ex for her to visit, but that would be at your own expense. At the expense of your mental and emotional health. And that's not okay. I would let the people around you know that you just need some time before you're willing to let her into that space. Maybe it'll be years, maybe it'll be never. Your mental and emotional state need to be built up and strengthened so you won't suffer from her being there. And that takes time.